my grief after the death of my husband a couple of years earlier. Things from my early life came bubbling up as I dealt with my grief, and I was pushed back to that early life of mine that was a life of fear, humiliation and retribution. I had a violent alcoholic dad who told me I was stupid, useless and worthless and not worth educating. I was a waste of space. So I grew up with no self-esteem, no self-confidence and no self-worth. At 15 I was a victim of pack rape and a pregnancy and a forced adoption came out of that. It's small, but that's the basis so that you understand where I came from. So the book was part of my healing process. It was something that took me one step forward as I healed. I then moved on and did 101 other things over the next 10 years. And in 2018, I republished Beyond Abuse. And this one called Beyond Abuse, a recovery guide for men and women in an era of all of us too. Because abuse doesn't just happen to women, it happens to men as well. So this book covered what I said the first time, plus what had happened in the intervening 10 years. And then I made the decision to include 4 men's stories and 4 other women's stories to balance it out. Abuse is such a wide-reaching subject. It's not going away. We hear about it every night on the news, so we certainly need a fresh approach. And the great value in this book was that it was the catalyst for me to search and find my daughter. It took me 2 short months to find and to meet her, and she was in Toowong, would you believe it? And she was 10 days short of 50 the day that we first met. So this book will always be precious to me for the very fact it helped give me the guts, the courage, the wherewithal to say, it's time. It will soon be time for me to trace the son who was the second child, but that day will come in time. So great catalyst, absolutely fantastic, and the reading will come out of that. But that being the catalyst, book 3 came up, and book 3 is just about to be launched. It's being launched here at the library on Saturday week, 30th of November. So this one's called Speak Out, From Suppression to Expression in 9 Vital Steps to Know That Your Voice Matters. Very different type of book. It's a unique combination of storytelling and strategies to help people move forward when they've been in a position where they haven't had a voice or not been able to use their voice. So I'm very excited about this one as well. But let's go back to Beyond Abuse. From chapter 1. Has something happened to you? It never ceases to amaze me how phenomenal and resilient men and women are. I looked at her and I just knew she was confident, vibrant and alive. And I wanted some of what she had. I knew nothing of what had happened in her life, what experiences she had had, and what she had been through to become the person that she was in front of me. Have you ever thought that when you've looked at someone? I know I have. To me, that is the essence of natural confidence, an inner feeling and energy that shows outwardly and is demonstrated by posture, energy, manner and presentation. When you embrace and cherish confidence, it assists you to withstand the slings and arrows that life presents to us. You can't exist in this world without leaving a piece of yourself behind and having an effect on generations past and future. How exciting is that? However, stop and think. Is that how you live, how you love, how you share that piece of you? What is it that you want to leave behind? What would you like to leave behind as your intergenerational link. And I think mine will be a life led where I've learned love, peace and forgiveness despite what's happened in my life. And then we go across to the last chapter. Healing after sexual abuse. Healing after sexual abuse is not a 2-minute job. It doesn't happen in a heartbeat. For me, it's been an ongoing journey to grow personally, become softer, calmer, and quietly confident. In that time, I have found wonderful happiness and joy in my life. That includes acknowledging and embracing my shadow side. It's been worth each and every one of my experiences. I honour the men and women who have shared their stories openly throughout my book. It showed great courage and vulnerability for them to do so. Everyone loves a story, but especially a story of transformation. They touch the heart. So from my heart to your heart, it's okay when you say, gosh, that happened to me. Look how he or she handled it. I think and feel that they are speaking to me. Abuse is a huge topic. It knows no boundaries and it is not gender specific. It causes illness, anxiety, fear, overwhelm, lack of confidence and relationship breakdowns. And for men, it often happens behind closed doors, and I think there's an extra sheet of shame because men think that, they should be the breadwinners, the main, and I think it affects them much more deeply than what we're led to believe. There are toxic men and toxic women. And as women, I think we need to take some responsibility for what happens to us and avoid the blame game. And if there's any advice that I would give to a young lady today, or to a young man, leave the table when respect is no longer being served. For me, my love's story began on my mother's lap, and it's evolved into a passion, whether I'm reading for pleasure, education, to make me laugh, or for self-improvement. When we step into our courage and share our lives and stories, we give others permission to do the same. Letting go and forgiveness are areas that opened up my world. They can open yours too. There are some wounds that we carry for a lifetime, but we can make a difference by sharing them. Healing doesn't mean that it takes away the memory or denies that it happened, but it does allow us to function better and react less. Not letting the memories consume any more of our time than necessary. I remember saying that the rapists took one night of my life and I let them affect the next 43. The only person who can change is you. True change does not come from just action. It emerges from genuine love, understanding and compassion. The blame game does not help. How often do we read, he did, she did, he shouldn't treat me like this, she shouldn't have done that, and the words go on. But by the same token, we can't put today's values on yesterday's actions. Yeah, it was rough stuff that happened back in the 60s, but that's how society was. Society's different today, and I think that we need to remember that. In this time of raised consciousness, we can all play our part, finding our way and supporting those who are paving the way for a better future, a place where love, respect and compassion become a way of life. Confidence became my queen after stepping up and taking personal responsibility. Not squealing from the rooftops, I am the greatest, but that quiet, calm confidence where you just know. But neither am I saying that we're 100% confident all the time. Confidence isn't static, it's a living, breathing energy. So just reflect for a moment and ask yourself, if you're lacking confidence, what has that lack of confidence cost you? Personally, professionally, emotionally, and spiritually. It cost me a lot. But I found when I took responsibility for myself and started acting confidently, I gained personal strength that served me well. So from my heart to your heart, I send love and hugs to the reader. Just know you're okay, you are enough, you're worthy of love, especially starting with yourself. It's called self-love.
Thank you, Di, would you just like to join us over here? And I'd just like to start by thanking you, first of all, for sharing your journey. And just to take that journey idea just a little bit further, you talked about the journey of healing and sharing story, and the way in which that assisted that whole process of forgiveness and connection. Would you just like to talk about those words just a little bit more, that especially the connection idea, where sharing a story brings some sort of healing connection, I think you were saying.
Okay. I'd like to just add something else first. When I first wrote the story, for want of a better word, I was pretty nervous because I'd actually gone back to live in Nambour where the rape had occurred. I'd moved away and come back. So I was a bit kitschy because I didn't know, and I only knew one of these three guys. I didn't know where they lived. I didn't know who they were. So there was that scary bit. So when I actually spoke about it, and I might also add, I've been in Toastmasters for 42 years, and that particular year in 2006 I went in a speech contest, and I used my story in that contest. When I first started to do it, I was getting upset. I was very emotional, and I thought, well, this isn't going to work. I didn't want to give my story away to someone else, so I chose to tell my story through Marie. Who's Marie? My middle name, hidden away, never used. And when I did that, it was like a third party where I was emotionally removed so that I could speak clearly. And what was the other part of the question?
Sorry, what you've done is talk about the way in which you connected with yourself by actually, first of all, stepping outside yourself.
Yes.
And in a sense, that's a real process of healing, isn't it? That's the journey that you went on, where by telling your story, in a sense, you're stepping outside yourself. And you said you shared the story of other people. I wonder if they felt the same, that their story, having been told in your book, brought some sense of healing to them because they could let it go, because it was outside.
I think with a lot of women who came up and speak to me after I'd spoken at an event, me, my sister, my friend, the number of women that have been affected who went through the forced adoption areas, it is phenomenal. And the welfare workers of the day were not nice, and they told me that they had just compounded everything. My dad had said that I was, stupid, useless, now I was unclean and unworthy, and that I should go nursing and get out of society's way because no decent man would ever want me. And so I did. I went nursing and became officious and efficient. And then against their wishes, I met a lovely man and had a wonderful 31-year marriage until his death in 2002. So I proved them quite wrong.
Is there any question from the audience, please? Yes, Daniel.
I just wondered how long it took you to gain your confidence after you decided to be confident. If that makes sense.
Could you just repeat that for me, please?
How long did it take you to really feel that you were confident after you decided you were going to be yourself and confident?
That's a difficult question.
Was it a cyclical thing?
It was a cyclical thing. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was true. Because I've gone through different things. So, I had the terrible upbringing and then the terrible teen years. And then I got married. Well, when I got married, I married a man with 4 kids aged 10 to 16 and I was 24. So I took out a bit when I got married, and then we had a son the next year, so that confidence I gained during my nursing slipped away because I just thought it would be like running a hospital ward. Well, they didn't behave like the hospital patients, so they didn't do as they were told. It was a very different story, so my confidence dropped. So I joined Toastmasters in 1977 and I started to pick up. And I waxed and waned through different times of life. But in 2002, when Liz passed away, I sunk to an all-time low. And that was a real trip to pull myself out of that. And that took a good 12 months, but it was probably 3 years before I felt 100% confident.
Any other questions, please? Can I ask about that and just ask you to talk a little bit more about that whole process? So many people feel that, you know, when you recover, that's it, you can move forward and you're always going to be better. But life's not like that, is it?
No, it's not,
so much that sometimes you revisit some of that trauma and some of that pain.
Life's experiences and the challenges, you know, challenges are like a bus, there'll always be another one. So, you know, just when you think that you've got over one and you've got it sorted, doesn't mean to say that you'll never have a challenge again. So if you learn the techniques to cope with the challenge, you can take it from one challenge to the next. So, you know, I'm pontificating at this moment. Now, do I do this 100% right all the time? Ask my current partner, Pete. The answer's no. But I get better and better as time goes on, because guess what? I'm actually a human. Yeah, I'm allowed.
And I think that's the key, I think, to healing.
Yeah.
To recognise that fact that you are human and that you can make mistakes and you're allowed to be full of mistakes. So, are there any other questions? Sorry, this is fascinating to me. Any other questions on of Di, please? It's a journey she has been on and a journey she has shared, and one we have heard quite often here at Open Mic. So it's certainly something that writing seems to bring. Bev.
I just wondered how you went about getting your books edited.
The first one, when I published Beyond Abuse, the first time I was involved in National Speakers, and Robin Henderson, who was a big networker in Southeast Queensland, and she's a writer and publisher and does all sorts of things. She took me under her wing and guided me through the process the first time, and I self-published and I went back to Rob, I've done this bit, what do I do now? So that's how that evolved. The second edition, I was at an event doing a little video for my website, and someone said to me, when we were doing the text, someone said to me, why don't you republish? I hadn't really thought about it. And so she said, I can put you in touch with the editor. And I thought, that's good. And I thought she was in Southeast Queensland, but she's in New York. So that's created a few issues, and I didn't actually understand what I was getting into, and that hasn't all been a real happy story. However, that's part of the process. And then the latest book I did following being in an authors expo and with Trish Springsteen and Deb Fay here in the local area, and Deb offered a book club. So a group of us wrote our individual books within a group, and we had a Zoom call every week for support, and that's been an absolutely amazing way to go. And if I was going to do it again, that's the way I'd go.
Certainly that idea of the network, the community.
The network's goal.
It's all about connection. So, are there any other questions before we thank you? Yes, please.
Did you have the opportunity to have a good relationship with your mother?
I did. My mother led a life of suppression, and she had a lot of trouble coming out of that. She loved me very dearly, but she couldn't forgive herself, and she thought that a lot of the things that had happened in life were her fault, and that was probably put onto me as a child, so that I then grew up with it. And even in Mum's latter years, she lived till she was 92, she worried about it constantly. No matter what I said, I couldn't get through to her that it was okay, that she could let it go, it wasn't her fault. that things happen in life, and Mum just didn't quite get that. But yes, I did have a good relationship with her. My mother was a very gentle, beautiful person.
If there's no further questions, could you please thank Di Riddell?